This week we're doing Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. I'm Sarah Lyles.
And I'm Jamie Livingston, and we are so approachable. This was a fun book.
Yeah, so fun.
If you listened to our TLDR episode, you know that we were excited for this one. It was a really goofy episode. Yes. I feel like we were in the zone, and so I'm curious to see if that translates to the actual book in our cover-to-cover episode. So if you haven't listened to that one, go back and listen to it to get all the background, because we're going to jump straight into this one. You got 3 words. How would you describe this one?
Twisty, compelling, and a big word, sardonic, like darkly witty.
Oh, that is a fancy word. Okay, well, I have sassy, annoying, and obnoxious.
Oh, man, that's so funny. That shows like how we see the book so differently.
Yes. So I'm very interested to dig into.
Same here. All right, so where do we start? I guess some of the characters.
Yeah, we got to start with Lucy.
Yes.
What did you think about her? We can say, let's see, she's the narrator. She's a woman trying to rebuild her life after being accused of murdering her best friend, Savvy, 5 years ago, I think. Mm-hmm. She has no memory of that night and has moved away to build a new life, but she's forced to return to her hometown when the murder is investigated by a true crime podcast.
Yeah.
Did you like Lucy?
I did. The only thing I hated was she was so unreliable because her memory was lost. And so even though I liked that sometimes she was reliable, because when she found something out, we found it out at the same time. But I was like, come on, remember, there's got to be more to this.
I enjoyed her to a certain extent. I mean, she was really funny. And like the dark thoughts and how she was trying to murder everybody in her mind, that made me laugh every time in the grocery store.
Just kill him. Right. Just kill him.
What did you think about the voice in her head?
Oh, I thought it was funny. I literally was like, all right, okay. So that's why there's many times that I was like, okay, she killed him. Like, obviously, she had like a memory, like a trauma response that she forgot that she did it. Mm-hmm. But I definitely thought, all right, she's sick and twisted. I love it. I was so intrigued by it.
So were you surprised that it wasn't just a random voice in her head?
Yes. Were you?
Yes. That made it actually interesting to me, because at first I was like, this lady is nuts. Like, what on earth? And so the fact that it's actually memories of her friend Savvy, that made it make sense. And like, I put an exclamation point next to that in my notes. I was like, oh, okay, I see where we're going now. But now I'm even more confused, because who are they trying to kill? And that brought up a whole nother angle to this whole book.
They were trying to kill a lot of people.
I know. I mean, Savvy wanted to kill her husband, Lucy's husband.
Right.
But then Lucy just wanted to kill everybody.
Yeah.
And so it just felt like a free-for-all, and I was very confused by that. But in general, I enjoyed Lucy.
Yeah.
And her voice. I don't know.
All right, so we kind of touched on Savvy. Mm-hmm. So Savvy obviously was the one that was murdered. And so she was like, her best friend for many years. Super popular and well-liked figure. When I heard all that, I was like, okay, I'm really confused. Because I'm like, okay, she seems like this, like, perfect. The way that other people had described her when they went on the podcast was that she was this, like, wholesome, nothing wrong, and that Lucy was constantly corrupting her. Mm-hmm. And then we find out that's not the case.
It was the other way around, for sure. And Lucy even points that out and talks about how everybody seems to remember Savvy as this angelic being who like couldn't do anything wrong, and really she's this like feisty, tatted up girl who like is known for getting around and being not angelic. And Lucy follows suit as well. Like, she admits that when she's podcast Lucy, she talks nicely about Savvy, even though she was kind of rough and tumble.
Why do you think that Lucy never kind of corrected everybody about Savvy?
The truth doesn't matter.
True.
I mean, that was kind of the going phrase throughout the book. Does it matter? Like, the truth doesn't matter. And why would you want to corrupt the memory of somebody? But that really did like mess things up for the entire investigation, for like the entire town idolizing this woman, even though she wasn't. Maybe we can talk about this, but the fact that Savvy had killed somebody.
Yes.
Okay, so she's clearly not an angel.
Right. And didn't someone think that it was actually Lucy that did it? I can't remember the details on it, but it almost seemed like they didn't think Savvy ever did anything. But that was Lucy's memories, right? That she was remembering. Mm-hmm.
Because nobody knew, because the guy that Savvy killed wasn't even missing.
Oh, that's right.
Like the family member was like, oh, I just thought he moved and never touched in. So that nobody even knew about that case. And so I understand them not wanting to bring that up, but it's also like the chick who killed him is dead. So what is going to happen with that? So
sure, but Lucy had to give up her whole life. Like literally it changed her life. That's my whole thinking. It's like, yeah, sure, it doesn't matter, but it does, because Lucy moved away. She had to pretty much leave everything. Her whole like stature as she stood as a person changed because this small town they knew in their minds that she was the murderer.
Yeah, I did find it interesting when Lucy is going back. She says, I never really got out. I wasn't here physically, but in a way I've spent every day of the past 5 years here. Other people moved on with their lives. I'm still defined by everything in my hometown.
See? That's what I'm saying.
Like she definitely could have helped her case some. I get it, the amnesia, whatever, but I had also noted that Savvy's memory is this like perfect girl, but she loved supervillains and she killed a guy, so she is not the cliche angelic girl. Mm-mm. She also talks about her being not very glamorous and was always in leftover makeup. like she's a real person, not this just cookie cutter victim.
Right. Right. And everybody made her seem like she was. So that's why I liked the unfolding of her realistically, how she actually was. It made it more interesting.
So what about Ben? Ben is our podcast host.
Yeah.
What do you think about him?
I liked him. I liked him a lot. I will say, like, I loved the audiobook of this. Mm-hmm. If you're normally a reader and don't normally audiobook, I would say this one was really good. They did it so well. They definitely made you feel like you're in the true crime podcast. I don't listen to those, but I know you do. So like when you're in that true crime podcast, they had like the intro music. Mm-hmm. And so it was really entertaining. And it made it really fun for him. I loved him. I felt like him as a narrator was reliable. He gave us a lot of the facts. He uncovered a lot of things that made it like, wow. Even for Lucy, he uncovered things. And I like that he was not like, oh, she's guilty. I like that he had that sense of, well, maybe she's not guilty. And so, what'd you think of him?
I was okay with him. I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. Like, he just... Also, Lucy's only word for him was smug. And I felt like that was repetitive. And every time she saw him, she said, that smug podcaster, that smug podcaster. I was annoyed by that. Like, she was a writer. She could have come up with another word. That was really annoying to me. But Ben clearly lacked some journalistic integrity.
Oh, absolutely.
Sleeping with the subject of his podcast, big no-no. I'm just going to throw that out there. And I thought that the podcast itself was very unrealistic because he was putting out bonus episodes left and right, and was changing everything. And I don't think this is the kind of story that would be the case. It's not actually happening in the moment. So this is 5 years after a murder, and like the case was closed. So yes, podcasters come in and try to investigate, but I don't think it would be a live updates. Mm-hmm. I think that's one where you do all the research and then you script out the podcast and you'd present the entire thing. So him putting out episodes as he's interviewing people seemed very unrealistic to me, and poor journalism.
That's the journalist in you.
It just felt really one-sided. Mm-hmm. he wasn't giving the other people a chance to speak, and it wasn't, I didn't think he was reliable. I looked at that and was like, no, you would have waited until you got that person's counterpoint. I mean, it did. I loved how it was woven into the book. And yes, like you said, the audiobook really made you feel like you were listening to the podcast as well. And so I did go back because we have the hard copy. And so I was reading it some of the way and listening to it some of the way. And I definitely enjoyed those parts more with the audiobook. If you're reading the book, it's scripted out, so you have to kind of get your own voice for those people. But it was edited very well for the audiobook. I liked that. But again, I listen to true crime podcasts, and they're usually very well put together and researched. And I have listened to some that are like as a trial is going on. And so it's like, here's a breakdown of day 1 of the trial. Here's a breakdown of day 2 of the trial. But even then, like, that person's done their research, and it was, this didn't do it for me.
Well, Grandma didn't help with that whole, Grandma was really trying to push them to get together.
Well, Grandma just had, come on, Beverly. She's got a line of suitors. She is going to get what she wants.
She's getting around.
Yes. What do you think about her?
I thought she was hilarious. Now, I also love that I went back and tried to see who Amy Tintera, was that someone that she knew? Because I was like, if this is, that's hilarious. She actually says it's by her grandma, her own grandma. She said her own grandma would go to parties and 70-year-old woman and they'd let the 20-year-old boys buy her shots and stuff. So to me, that is hilarious.
Bev, let's go.
And so for me, that was just an entertainment factor. Some humor. Grandma seems real. What did you think of the grandmother?
She's also the only person who ever stood by Lucy.
Yeah.
And so that was powerful. I thought it was very manipulative to get her to come to town for her birthday party. And while
party.
You're actually just going to be talking with this guy the entire time. So I enjoyed her. I think we go back to the review from our TLDR talking about how everybody was sleeping around, even Grandma. Okay. There was a lot of that. And so I was just like, okay. I loved that she lived in a tiny house. That just made me chuckle. I could picture it, just this teeny little spot.
Yeah, I thought she was funny.
Okay. Who done it? In your list of people, who did you correctly guess this one?
No, not at all.
Okay.
So it changed a lot. So Chapter 2, I thought it was Lucy. Chapter 10, I thought it was Colin. Because, Colin was...
sleeping with her mom.
Oh, my gosh. Yes. I after that unfolded, I was like, what? You went in the car, so that's actually your alibi is not the... And all the alibis constantly changing also made it really hard to follow. Okay, wait, which was good. It was good on her point to make me go, wait, so that's not the person. Is it them? Are they the ones that did it? Because why'd they lie? And so there was a lot of lies within all the scandal.
There's a lot of really loose alibis.
Yes.
And so that's why it was so shocking that there was no investigation.
Yeah.
Nobody had a good, solid alibi to where they were. Or again,
but do you think a lot of that had to do with the small town? Small towns, in my mind, I imagine they just want justice and they just want to have someone to point a finger at. And if it's easy to say she did it, that's easy to say case closed, we're done, we're not spending our time or money, because obviously a small town, small sheriff office.
I can see that, but they also didn't have closure. So that was where it was this is a small town and it is this angelic example of a person, and you're not actually going to question people. That was another thing in here. I felt like there was a lot of men bashing. Everything, this felt very, I don't want to say very feminist, but I feel like a lot of the angles and comments in here were that men have all the power, don't question the men. And
not a gender role.
Yeah. And so those, I kind of started rolling my eyes at those too. Because Lucy's mom, she made some comment about how her mom was always protecting the men in her life, and she doesn't even realize she's doing it. And like there was just a lot of that, and all of the men in this book were bad.
I mean, there was a lot of like trigger warning, obviously, domestic abuse, and so even in that, I was like, these men do not need to be protected. And that's why so often after I realized it wasn't Lucy, I thought, okay, it's Colin, it's Matt, and then I went back to being like, even like Kyle Porter, he was very unforgettable, but I should say forgettable. Yeah. And so all these people, I thought it was a man for all of this. Never did I ever actually think it was Emmett.
It was the good guy?
Yeah.
Sarah. You didn't think it was the good guy?
Emmett was so forgettable that I actually had to go back to be like, who is this guy? I don't even remember reading about him because it was such a blip in like someone that was introduced and then did not reintroduce for a long time until what? Wow, all this unfolded so quickly.
I feel like I actually have some notes. Emmett shows a lot of questionable looks, concern whenever Lucy comes around. And I wrote down, is it because she's worried is it because he's worried she remembers? Because she took
I'm proud of you.
She took it as like he was concerned, but I took it as like he doesn't know if she's coming around to like call him out on something. Because if she remembered, he would be in trouble every time. So after the ending, I went back to like every time I could find Emmett, and it always started with a weird look.
Like a side eye?
Yeah.
See, I don't remember
It was
any
like
of that.
he was looking and like, is she coming at me mad or is she coming at me normal? Because I think he was ready for her to remember, and then he was going to have to like figure something out there.
Look at you. I'm so proud.
He was the only man referenced that wasn't a douchebag.
Oh, so that stood out to you.
Yes. I didn't really foresee it being that he was this jealous, crazy whatever, but there had to have been a reason.
True.
He was the only nice guy. I figured your nice guy hat would have come off and the warning. You always tell me it's the nice guy. It's not the blatantly awful.
That's true. That's true.
Wife beater. Like,
well, I got this wrong. This one wrong. I got it wrong.
well, and I think that from the review that we read last week, it talked about how every character was unlikable. Yeah, it said this got kind of annoying. All of the characters were dislikable. They were meant to be, making everyone unlikable in order to make everyone seem like a suspect. And nail on the head, she did it, because I didn't like them and I suspected all of them. So I'm not saying that I figured this one out by any means, but I was not surprised that it ended up being Emmett.
I was.
Because she was even like, I should have run away with you that night. And I was like, I don't think so. Yeah.
Well, and even in that, actually it was Ben that told a lie in that very end, which ended up getting Emmett like locked up and put away, and actually like.
What do you think about that?
I mean, there's so many lies.
I didn't understand why that was necessary.
I didn't feel like it was necessary, and I don't know, maybe he felt like he was trying to like seal the deal to like help Lucy for her case, but I'm like, there was so much evidence that it didn't even matter at this point.
Right. Like, I understand that her memory is still circumstantial evidence, but a hammer, like, the fact that everybody's taking the man's word is what it comes down to.
Which was
and so
irritating.
They're taking the man's word again with Ben saying, I heard him say this. So they heard him say it, but it doesn't matter what Lucy's memory is.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this one, I really enjoyed it, but I was also really angry a lot of the time. And I was confused because it bounced around with so many different people being interviewed, and so that was hard to keep track of.
There were a lot of characters.
What townsperson is this?
There was a lot of people that were insignificant. I understand that it did help us unfold the story and to see the background of the people. But I felt there was a lot of characters that I had to be like, wait, who is this? Where are they? we've learned that I don't love a ton of characters.
Right.
Because that really confuses me. I already have a hard time following sometimes. But then when you throw in all these, I feel like there were 6 characters in there that didn't even matter.
Oh, yeah. You could say a bunch of names right now, and I'd be like, oh, sure. They're probably in the book. I don't know. There's a Maya. There's a Nathan. There's like,
yes,
I don't know.
A ton of them that don't even matter. So, yes, that was hard for me to read. I didn't enjoy that.
And again, this is one of the books where the clues aren't really there for you to solve it.
Right.
Again, because Lucy doesn't have the clues.
She doesn't have the answers.
So you have to wait for her memory to come back. But there were some signs.
Correct.
Pointing toward Emmett along the way. But what did you think about Matt?
Oh. A scumbag. Where do I start? He seems like an awful person.
Right.
He seems like he just doesn't care.
But everyone in town loves him and has no idea. Even her family, when they're starting to learn from his second ex-wife about his behaviors inside the home.
Well, and good for her for coming out and actually speaking up.
Yeah.
I was like, when she came onto the podcast and said, I was like, ooh, good for her.
But then Lucy was like, well, it wasn't the same for me.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, Lucy.
Shut up. Yes.
Just tell everybody he's a sleazebag and
Yes.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Move on. Yeah.
What did you think of Matt?
I was suspicious of him. Clearly, he's a bad guy, has the anger issues, was already cheating, so there could have been some sort of a motive in there somewhere. I just never understood why anybody thought that Lucy killed Savvy. Like, that just never made any sense. So there had to be somebody else. You said you suspected Lucy for a fraction.
Yeah, for a couple chapters. Only because I have read some books that are so obvious, and then I get to the end, and then I think, no way, that can't be that, because that's too obvious, and then it comes out. But I almost wondered, is she bipolar? Is there some type of, Jekyll and Hyde? Is there something going on that in the background that we're not finding out? Did she get drugged and accidentally kill her? I didn't necessarily I thought that she is the person killed her on purpose. But I thought, okay, maybe she did, because of all of the skin underneath her nails and the blood all over her, and the fact that she couldn't remember anything, like a trauma response. I thought, man, there's got to be something more to the story. And there was a lot more to the story.
I was reading another review, and it talked about how the amnesia trope is overdone, or nobody who has amnesia is ever the bad guy.
True.
And so it would have been a twist. And that was the twist this person was looking for, was well, maybe it is actually the person with amnesia, but it never is. And so, and I agreed. I didn't think, did you believe the amnesia?
For a minute, I thought, oh, maybe she's lying. But then that kind of went away after a few chapters. Okay, she really, it seems like she genuinely does not remember.
I just remember... I don't know if I should say this. There was a girl in high school who was in an accident and had amnesia. And it, nobody believed her. It was 2 weeks that she didn't remember.
That's so sad.
It was so strange. I'm admitting I'm one of the people who did not believe it. It was...
What grade were you in?
This was high school.
Oh, okay.
It was so strange. And she was just I don't remember. And we were it was a week ago. What do you mean you don't remember? It just felt so weird. And so I do have experience with that. And so for people not to believe her, I get that. I'm guilty of that. I'm sorry if you actually couldn't remember, but we didn't believe you. But now, reading that situation, this is 5 years later, and she still doesn't remember that night. And it's just this one little portion of time. But then when you actually learn about her injuries, because I think we're told what her injuries were off the top, but when she's actually reliving that, I was
significant.
Oh, my goodness, no wonder. And I did appreciate Ben's perspective when Lucy thought she was being portrayed as crazy, but he was if you were my kid, I would have protected you and left you in the hospital and not let anybody close to you after such a severe injury. Like, you had brain damage or like trauma. And people were asking you about what happened and trying to make you remember and relive this, like, that day.
Heal. Yes.
So I respected that approach, and the fact that Lucy thought that made her look crazy, or as, like, she was a victim of this as well.
Yes.
And the fact that it was like a hammer, and they're talking about it being a tree branch, I'm like,
that's a big difference.
Coshed over the head repeatedly with a hammer. Okay.
What I don't understand is doctors see a lot of really good things, and they know how did they not see the significance of, like, I would imagine it would have some type of marking.
Right.
A significant marking, not a tree branch. A tree branch is not perfectly round or perfectly shaped in that way. Metal hits much different than a tree.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was like, oh. But I did not appreciate her parents in any of this, especially her mom. Yeah. I mean, her dad was like, if you remember anything, like, come to me. And I'm thinking, see, that made me be like, did he do something?
Right. Did you ever suspect the parents?
Oh, for a minute, yes. And so it was just like, why are they being so weird?
Well, especially because the mom was in the back seat of a car with some other fella at that time. But, like, there was a part of me that suspected the mom, and then maybe the dad of helping cover it up for the mom. Mm-hmm. Like, there was just weird stuff going on. And the fact that nobody was questioned, like...
Yeah, I know. Well, then obviously Dad didn't care about the mom being with someone else because he had his own thing going on.
Right.
And so it was a lot of scandal and a lot of infidelity.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But it was entertaining. So
what actually caused Lucy's memories to start flooding back?
Oh, so
how did you feel about that they did start coming back?
I will talk about the pace because that kind of goes along with that. So the pace, I enjoyed the pace. I felt it unfolded really well. When all of that flooded back, it felt like a train wreck, right? It felt like, whoa, okay, all this is coming back, flooding at once. The pace completely changed. To me, I was like, I felt bad for her all of a sudden. I had a sense of, like, that poor girl has been through all of this. And the last 5 years I imagine when you get told a lie over and over again, you start to believe it. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I'm thinking she's starting to believe that she killed, and even she says, like, in there, like, maybe I did. And so she's starting to think that maybe she killed her best friend. And so I felt so bad for her, but yet so vindicated. Like, here she's going to get, like, the answers she's been looking for. But that whole thing made me just go, the pace changed significantly and it unfolded so quickly. What did you think about that whole ordeal?
I thought that the pacing was interesting. As her memories, I mean, I was annoyed because it was like she was kissing Matt, and that's what triggered memories to come back.
And kiss that idiot.
Like, this is so dumb. And so, like, she was trying to get back into early 20s Lucy to trigger those memories, and that just kind of made me annoyed as well. Mm-hmm. Like, you're trying to sink back into this, and that's what's going to cause it. I think that her actually listening to the savvy voice really helped bring back some of those memories. And so I don't know if she had to go and kiss Matt or hang out with him at all. Like, that I didn't really like. And then the fact that Emmett was still coming on to her after this. Like, did he think her memory was never going to come back?
I think he hoped it wouldn't.
Well, and that just was confusing to me. Like, he's still on this train right now and, like, still trying to get his way with Lucy, and I just wanted to punch him. Side note, how was he not questioned back at the wedding that night? Because it said he went back to the wedding and helped people, like, get to their cars. She punched him in the face, and he had to have been wet, dirty.
Yes.
Like, they actually, like, he was hit, and it said that Lucy hit him really hard in the jaw. Like,
nobody saw
no explanation for coming back with blood on him or the bruise, like, 2 days later.
And maybe that was a afterthought for the author. Maybe she didn't think about that. I don't know. But to me, yeah, I could totally see that. I didn't think about that perspective. But yeah, totally like, can you explain this?
Yeah, and I don't understand because Matt saw Emmett that night. Like, they were both there in the woods. That's what I was trying to re-listen to that portion because I was so confused as to why Matt was so dead set on the fact that Lucy killed Savvy, but it was because Emmett told him. Right?
Yeah. Basically,
and so it was
because he's believing a
man said this, and so the other man said this to another man who told everybody. I was like,
they're like, bro code, man. She did it,
right? Like, but did Matt truly believe that?
Well, Matt was a horrible husband. Okay, so I feel like no matter what, he was like already out to get Lucy because he didn't care about her. He didn't care about her, like. If he was a good husband, I feel like he would have tried to, like, all right, we need to go further. We need to investigate further. Like, there's a lot more to this. Lucy's really struggling, but he was a horrible person.
Right. And I think that one of the explanations was that the mom wanted to come forward because Matt told them that Lucy did it. And mom wanted to come forward to police and reveal that. But they wanted to wait to see if her memory came back. And then it just like kept getting postponed because her memory didn't come back. And so they all just went along with it. Like, what would have happened if they actually went to police and said, we don't think she did it? Would they have investigated differently? Would they have...
I would have hoped they would have.
Tried to find some other evidence?
I mean, it was an easy... I mean, I didn't like that. I didn't like that they easily pointed at her, and I felt how unfair because she's got this amnesia that's not fair to her, that she is being guilty of something that she ultimately didn't do. And so that's why I hate that whole, like, there are people in prison, there are people in jail that are not guilty. Mm-hmm. And so I know it happens, but this whole story made me be like, why was she such the easy target? And then also her just not speaking up on some things, I feel like made it easier to target on her.
If her family hadn't been so dysfunctional, do you think there would have been a different outcome?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't you?
Yes.
I mean, they were super dysfunctional, but I think that made it even easier for the police to go, okay, let's just wipe our hands clean.
Well, right. Everybody had something that they were hiding. Like, mom didn't want to admit that she was sleeping with this guy that night. Dad didn't want to admit that he had seen Matt that night. Like, everybody had something. I'm grateful that Grandma believed her. And even up until the very end, because Lucy's about to go home because she's starting to kind of remember stuff and doesn't want to remember anymore because it's feeling incriminating to her.
Right.
The things that she's remembered.
She's like, did I do it? Now I'm going to feel like
I don't want to actually know. Mm-hmm. And Grandma's like, no, you're still saying I think. You don't know, so don't put that on yourself. I don't think you killed your best friend. And so I was grateful that she was like speaking reason into this because it was insanity.
I loved the grandma. Because I feel like that's how family should be. And so she felt like the only true family that actually cared. And so part of me also, when you asked that question, thinks, oh, did the family go, we're just going to say it's her because we don't want them to uncover things in our own lives to where everybody else is going to know things. Okay, she did it. Like, that's not cool. That's not cool.
I did enjoy the aspect where the mom kept saying things like, that's not how an innocent person would act. That's not how an innocent person would act. Don't you know that? And she's like, what? How does an innocent person act? And I think that is something that you do often hear in true crime podcasts is like, there's no right way to be a victim. There's no, like, you can't look at the way that somebody's responding when they're accused of something or after a loved one dies. Like, oh, this person just went fishing afterward, or, oh, this person went out for a jog. Like, they must not have been really sad about what happened. Like, you can't victim shame.
Right.
And so that's what this was. But then Lucy, when she's on the podcast, she's like, what would an innocent person say? And like, she's trying to put on this persona
Yep.
because she doesn't know if she's innocent or not. And so that was kind of an interesting line to toe. But I think that's just a good reminder that we all grieve differently.
Yeah.
And
does it make
experience
you,
different.
as someone who listens to these true crime podcasts, does it make you think about the facts and investigations any differently?
Yes, because he did a crappy job of it. I very much, as a journalist, understand what it takes to go and find the answers. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them are doing really good work and coming through on cold cases and coming up with new leads and generating input and feedback from people. And I just don't think it goes that fast.
Right.
And so it is a lot more drawn out and nitty gritty. So the fact that he was writing up his ending and had multiple, I think it was this person. Yes, I think you do have kind of a rough draft like that, or you have your own investigation in front of you saying well, these points lead to this outcome.
Right.
This could lead to this, but it doesn't change my view on real podcasts. No.
Yes.
It does make me question them maybe a little more, and that you have to take that with a grain of salt because they are not the investigators. They are not the police. They are not the ones actually convicting this person. So you do have to listen and think critically, even when you're listening to something that sounds really legit, but question both sides.
Yeah, I could see that.
You don't listen to true crime podcasts. I love that you love thrillers and this kind of book, but that doesn't interest you at all? Do you watch documentaries or anything like that?
Not really. Okay. My husband is really into those crazy shows why is it always a crazy wife, by the way? It's always I always laugh because he likes watch shows like Snapped. And so sometimes I'll go watch them with him. And I'm like, these people are crazy. Yes.
I really enjoy the documentaries because it's long form, and working in TV news, you get a 60-second story or a 90-second story. And so I love when people can actually take these long interviews and weave them together into the story. And I think it would be great to work on one of those podcasts where you are actually digging in and doing the long form stories. I think it's great.
I watched it's the only documentary I probably have seen in a long time was really funny about a cruise that was called the Poop Cruise.
All right.
Have you heard of that? Oh my goodness. It's it's quite entertaining because they talk about the cruise lost power, and it makes you realize that not everything is safe. And that fine lines that we don't read, maybe we should.
Yes. Got it. Let me just look at my notes really fast because there were, I find a lot of funny quotes that I like. She went and met Emmett and Nina and said something about the kids and said, "They're cute, I lie. All kids look the same to me." It's I get that. And as somebody who didn't have kids until later in life, you just tell a mom that their kids are cute no matter what. That's what you do.
Yes, you smile.
But my kid is cute.
You smile and nod. You go, they're adorable.
Although you do have a Savvy.
Yeah, I do.
Do you call her Savvy?
I do. Yeah. I do call her Savvy. She's sassy Savvy often. So
It's very fitting.
So yes, I guess there's a couple notes there. Julia, another forgettable character.
Ex-wife? Current wife about to be ex-wife.
And he said that, where Matt had said while drunk, I should have protected her better. So he was speaking to her saying, when he was talking about Lucy, I should have protected her better. And so that made me then go, what did he feel like he needed to protect her better?
Right. I wondered that too, because did he actually think that Emmett had something to do with something, or he should have just driven her home that night, or that was a weird comment.
Because then even Julia thinks that Matt was with Lucy when Savvy died. And so then you're going, where are the dots to connect? So there's something more to this that we're not seeing.
That I enjoyed her coming forward, and at least it was weird that they didn't redecorate or anything in the 5 years after That's the first thing you do. You walk into the house and you take everything the ex did. Take that off the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah. You paint, you get new carpet, you get all things.
Get new furniture, all the things. But I mean, really, like, just a spice alert for anybody, chapter 41 is pretty spicy.
Yeah.
There are other bits and pieces in there, but...
I know. In our TLDR, our spice warning was that it was not very spicy. And there was, again, a lot of people sleeping around. So there's a lot of talking about it.
There's a lot of hints of it.
But that scene was definitely like, oh.
Yeah, so chapter 41, I was like, alrighty then. So if you don't already know, that's when Ben and all of his great journalism.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
He definitely does not have good, what's the word I want to use? Like,
integrity, ethics.
Ethics is the word I want to use, yes. Because then he's like, you're like, okay. I love that she does ask him, did you sleep with it? Does you do this often?
Right. Yeah. And the last podcast was over a dude, and she's like,
so?
The question stands. One other thing that I thought was really funny, because I was listening to this, and she made the comment, that's a dangerous pastime. A dangerous pastime, I know. And I was like, that's Beauty and the Beast. And then the next sentence she says, nobody can blame him, considering I'm making Beauty and the Beast jokes while talking about his sister's murder. Beauty and the Beast is my favorite. And so the fact that she pulled this Gaston quote out, I just was chuckling. Because it stood out in my brain, and then she solidified it by saying, like, I'm making Beauty and the Beast jokes about murder. It's like, that's one of the reasons I liked her. Like, that was...
She was humorous.
Yes.
I did. All right, so I think that's all. That covers so much of it.
Yeah.
So who do you want to go first? Do you want to go first?
No, I want you to go first.
Okay, I will. So the book as a whole, let me just say, like, the cover of the book, I love this book cover. So whoever did this cover and this cover art did such a good job, because I look at the red being murder, right? And then the podcast being obviously like, but the twisty turny is like the twist in the book. I loved the twists. I love the constant questioning and ever changing. To me, that's captivating. Like, okay, was it this person? Was it this person? Was it this person? And I liked the way that she unfolded things. That was super entertaining. Like I said before, there was a lot of characters. There was oftentimes I had to go back to re-figure out who those characters were. I was so surprised that it was Emmett. I was surprised how it happened. The whole story surprised me, which doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was like, I really enjoyed this book. I flew through it. I audiobooked it. Then I went back and audiobooked and read it at the same time. Still, I will say, someone who loves to turn the pages, the audiobook was great. I give this a 4.8.
Wow.
I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
The only reason I would say I didn't give it a 5 is because of the back and forth with the characters. That was so hard for me to go back and forth and be like, who was that person? And then them not even matter. That was hard for me. Didn't enjoy that.
Okay.
All right. What about you?
So this one, I struggled because I enjoyed it. And I think, like, it was easy enough to listen to. It was enjoyable. I loved the podcast. I loved listening to the podcast and how that was woven in, but it did not feel realistic to me. I talked about the journalistic integrity. I did not appreciate that, and the way that the podcaster is being portrayed. Like, we are nice people. We know what we're doing. Like, so I didn't really like that, and all the people sleeping around, and I'm tired of abusive husbands. Like, I feel like we've had so many books with just dirtbags, and I'm ready for a nice, well-meaning fella to actually be a nice, well-meaning fella. And maybe I need to go back to a rom-com or something. You need to go back to Funny Story. Like, man, I really resonated with the other review that we talked about, how everybody was dislikable, and it just got annoying. It wasn't a bad book. It was mediocre to me. At the end, like, I'm being a more critical reviewer, because after reading this, I would have been like, yeah, that was great. Like, sure. But I don't feel that way after, like, thinking about it and, like, This is a 3.6.
All right. Good. See, and I like our difference on that. I like that we don't always see eye to eye. I think that's good, because then I see your perspective in a lot of ways too.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of redeeming things about this, but I don't think it would be one that I would rave about. Like, I think it would be one that I would recommend, like, yeah, go listen to the audiobook. But there was just a lot of back and forth, and I don't know, you liked the twists and turns and not knowing, and I love that it caught you by surprise.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of myself for actually suspecting the person who...
I am very proud of you. I am very proud, because I think that, like, a couple months ago, you probably would have been like...
But I also think that in and of itself is very formulaic, because it was the only person who was decent.
True.
And so then it's like, of course he's going to be the decent guy, is going to be the bad guy. Like, where is my actual decent guy? Give me the decent guy.
Not in this book.
Maybe in our next book.
Maybe. Who knows?
I don't think so.
Oh, so I love that. That's great for me. I think that our differences make us even more enjoyable.
And we're going to keep reading.
Keep ranting.
And remember, you're so approachable.
Okay, the episode is over. If you enjoyed it, could you give us a thumbs up or leave a review?
It goes a long way toward helping us grow and meet new people like you.
Subscribe to get notified when the next episode drops.
You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook to see what we're reading next, recommend new books, and join the conversation.
We're so excited to have you on board.